Chosen one, something shifted the moment you opened this. Not because of what you did to find it, because of what found you. This Sunday was not placed on your calendar by accident. You did not arrive here by the ordinary movement of a restless morning. What is happening right now, in this specific moment, on this specific day, is the convergence of something that has been building in you for longer than you may realize. There is a kind of arrival that does not announce itself with fanfare. It arrives quietly, through the opening of a message, through the settling of something in the chest that says, without words, this is the one. I need you to understand something before we go any further. You have been called chosen before. You have heard that word and felt it land, somewhere real inside of you, and then watched it fade before you could hold on to it. You have stood at the edge of something new, and felt the pull backward. You have started again and again, and part of you has wondered whether the new beginning you keep reaching for is ever going to arrive and stay. That wondering ends today. Not because today is like every other Sunday, when you told yourself this week would be different. Today is different because you are different. The version of you that was always supposed to exist has been moving toward this threshold for a long time. And what begins on this Sunday is not another attempt. It is an arrival. It is the moment when what God has been forming in the dark begins to walk in the light. The process was not wasted. The waiting was not punishment. The formation season was the preparation for exactly this. This is not who you have been. This is who you are becoming. And this Sunday is the first day of that. I want you to do something before we talk about what's in store for you today. Pay attention to what's going on in your body right now. When the right word hits the right place, it makes you feel warm, pressed in the chest, and calm in a way that goes beyond thought. When I said, the word arrives, some of you felt it. When I said, threshold, some of you felt it. Pay attention to what they say. There is no emotion there, that is recognition. You know this is the day deep down. You've been waiting for this message to start for a while now. Dear chosen one, there are 5 signs that you are the type of person this Sunday was meant for. I'm going to list them slowly, because each one is important and true about you, whether you know it or not. What's the first sign? You've been carrying something for longer than anyone else knows, not on the surface but below it. Knowing that you were meant for more than the life you can see now. This isn't ambition in the usual sense. It's a deeper knowing that there is a part of your story that hasn't been told yet, and that the delay hasn't been permanent. Even though it feels that way. You have carried that knowing with you during times when it didn't seem right to do so. You didn't give up when everyone else did. The first sign is staying true to yourself in the dark, and not giving up on what's inside you. The second sign is that you've been in this situation before, and felt it slip away. You've had mornings that felt holy, prayers that felt real, and statements that felt true when you said them. But then you felt the feeling fade, and you found yourself back in the same patterns, feeling heavy, and being far from the version of yourself you were trying to reach. You didn't stop, you came back. Even though the people watching thought you were being stubborn or stupid, your determination was not a sign of weakness. That showed that you have something that can't give up what it was made for. This is the second sign. You can tell something is different right now, which is the third sign. There are different places in your mind where different messages land. Some get through, and some catch. This one got away. In the first sentence, you could feel it. One thing about this Sunday is different from the other Sundays you've been through. And you can feel it even if you can't explain it yet. There are some things that the chosen one doesn't explain that land in the knowing place. That's all they do. Pay attention. The third sign is that attention. The fourth sign is that it's been a long season. For some of you, a long time. There were years of formation that were supposed to show results. But they didn't, at least not in the ways that the people who were watching you could see. There has been work, planning, and dedication, but the fruit has not yet reached the level of the work, and you are still here. Not because you didn't have anywhere else to go, but because you know that this season has a reason for being, even if you can't see it yet. The fourth sign is that you won't let how long you have to wait determine how valuable what's coming is. Finally, you're ready to stop writing about what you are becoming and start living it. This is the fifth sign. Not one day, not when things are better, but right now, on this Sunday, with what you have and where you are. The chosen one who found this message today doesn't need any more permission to become who they were made to be. The fifth sign is that ready state of mind, where you know the time is now and not later. This message is for you if any of those 5 things are true about you. Not in general, but in particular. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. I want to take you somewhere for a moment with each word of it. Let me take you back to a time and place where you may not have known yourself. That's not a younger version in the simple sense, it's a fuller version. Because there was a time before the world started telling you who you could be, when your mind worked more like it was meant to, before the formation pressures, before the weight of everything that didn't go as planned, and before the slow narrowing that none of us noticed happening. No matter what happened, or how hard things were for some of you as a child, remember the child you were. Being a child, how quickly information came at you. How something new wasn't a burden but an opportunity. And the way creativity flowed through you, without you having to work at it or edit it, or defend or justify it. That time, you felt sharp and whole in the way you knew yourself. You could hold a lot of things at once. And they didn't fight with each other. They worked together. You could feel things before you could name them. You could make things without first checking, to see if you were allowed to. Some of the best places to study human cognition did research that revealed something that most people in spiritual communities have never been told. For kids younger than 10 years old, 98% scored at the genius level on tests for creative genius, which is a very specific level of integrated cognitive function. 98%, not the smartest or most gifted kids, but almost every single one of them. It wasn't that finding that shocked them. They were shocked by what they found when they tested the same kids again 10 years later, and when they tested adults. By adulthood, the number had dropped by a lot. Not even 1% of adults could still work at the same level of integrated function that most children start with. Not even 1 in 1,000. That's not a story about being smart. That's not a story about honor, faith, or discipline. People lose something important to them during the formative years of their lives, as told in that story. The biggest scam of our time is not about money. It's not friendly, it has nerves. Deep down, the clarity, wholeness, and connected genius that every child has was stolen. Most people will never know what was taken. They will only know that something is missing. Another thing is that there is a way to close the gap between the version of yourself you feel inside and the version you show the world. It's not because of a spiritual flaw, it has a reason. It doesn't say anything about how worthy you are. It was something that the receiver went through. Please think about that for a moment. Because some of you have thought for years that the gap between who you feel called to be and who you have been able to be in the world is a sign of something wrong with you. Something that you are missing, and maybe something that can't be fixed. What I'm telling you now is that what you believe is not true. The receiver was changed. It became harder to get through. It was slowly stifled by the patterns of a world that was never meant to protect the genius that every child has at birth, the clarity, the speed, and the wholeness. That's important to know because of this. It is possible to get back something that was taken. If something outside of you caused the narrowing, then something outside of you could also make it open again. And in the past few years, researchers have found something that most people who care deeply about change, calling, and becoming who they were meant to be have never heard of. Not because it goes against something holy, but because most of us aren't paying attention to it. Neuroscientists led by a doctor in New York, who has spent 20 years studying the structure of the human brain, have found something about the way your mind is built that explains something spiritually. Sensitive people have known for a long time, but couldn't put their finger on. Something so basic that it has roots in the Nobel Prize, and so specific in how it works that it can be given every day for 8 minutes. I will explain what they found, and what they made with it in the next part of this message. But for now, I want you to hold on to one question while we go on. If there is a difference between the you feel and the you show the world, what if that difference is not a flaw in your character? What if it has a specific place in the brain? What if you finally find out where that address is this Sunday? If you want to write something in the comments right now, chosen one, type the number 777. Because the way you felt when I asked you to hold that question is the first thing that this Sunday is meant to make you feel. There is an opening, open it up. Now I want to go deeper with you, because you need to know what's been going on in this season, and why there is a gap between your calling and what you are experiencing right now in order to understand who you are becoming Sunday. It's not time to talk about who is at fault, what is really going on, and what it means that you are here today are being talked about. That which you carry is sometimes hidden from those around you. You go through your days with a mind that doesn't work as well as it should because it's been there for so long. Most of the time, you don't even pay attention to the limitation. It's grown fond of your baseline now. You're swimming in fog, which shouldn't be your starting point. The space between what you think and what you say. What it takes to keep an idea in your mind long enough to act on it. Prayer can feel like talking into a thick wall, where you can't hear the other person. How it takes you longer than it should to make decisions, and how your clarity comes and goes instead of being a constant state. You feel heavy as you move toward what you know is the right thing to do. But you can't put your finger on why. A lot of things have been said to you about why this is. You've been told it has to do with spirit. People have told you to fast, pray more, declare, align, and give up, and you have done these things. Not jokingly, but honestly. At times, things have become clear, like when the channel opened, and something passed through. The thickness came back, and you started to wonder if it was really who you were, and not something that was happening to you. You started to carry the fog, as if it were a part of who you were. Not something that was forced on a vessel, that was made for something much clearer. This season, the chosen one is facing a problem that is neither fully spiritual nor fully natural. It's where the roads meet. It is the spot where what God has planned meets the needs of the vessel that is meant to receive it. It even has a name, though that's not as important as being able to recognize it. That which stands in the way is called disconnection. This does not mean being cut off from God or your calling. Disconnection at the level where your mind works with the information it gets. Everything the world did to your brain from the moment you were born changed the wiring. As a result, you are spiritually willing but neurologically only able to do a small part of what your promise requires. Both of your hemispheres should be in sync for you to receive. Your brain's left and right sides were made to work together as a single system. When they do, the information comes in whole. Making decisions brings clarity. People pray in a place where they can feel, track, and follow the response. Being creative is not something you have to do, it just happens. Both hemispheres should be firing at the same time in the version of you that is ready to do what God has planned. As they did when you were a child, and as they still do for the few people who still carry that grade-level integration into their adult years. When you were that kid, it was hard to tell the difference between sensing and knowing. The right side of the brain got it. The left side of the brain translated. Everything moved together. The integrated reception is only partially received when disconnection happens, which happens slowly over time due to stress, pressure, and the weight of living in a world that was never meant to keep it together. And partial reception means that the provision, direction, peace, clarity, and sense of being held and guided that is coming in is only being picked up by a receiver that can handle a small part of what is being sent. The receiver has become less strong, not the transmission. God is still sending the same amount of things. It's the same signal. The receiver is the thing that changes. I can see what you typed in the comments if that fits what you've been going through. The words are important, but not more than the experience. Putting it into words is the first step to letting it go. I have something to show you, chosen one. Throughout the Bible, the people who did the full work that God had given them did not do so in a state of partial reception. Don't think about the Joseph of the palace, the pit, or the prison. Instead, think about Joseph. Not only is it amazing that he lived, but it's also amazing that even at the worst points in his development, he never lost the ability to receive information, interpret it, and see things that normal people couldn't. He still dreamed in the pit. He still saw in jail. Even when things were worst in his outside life, the receiver stayed open. He didn't miss the cupbearer and baker's dreams because the unfairness of his situation kept him from thinking about them. He had a good view. He got the meaning right. He got what was being sent to him. That isn't a mistake. Even though it's a hard time of year, that painting shows what whole reception looks like. There is more to the chosen one who walks into what is ready on the other side of this Sunday than just being more spiritually disciplined than they were this morning. They are someone whose receiver has been put back together the way it was meant to be, so that what God has planned can land where it was always meant to land. I'd like to show you another figure. Think about when Moses stood at the bush that was on fire in the morning. What most people find interesting about that story is what God said, but what I find interesting is how attentive Moses was to what was going on. He didn't go by the bush. He stepped back to look. He was taking care of his normal flock on an ordinary morning when he noticed something out of the ordinary. Most people would have walked right past it, but he turned it around. The conversation that would shape the rest of his life began as he turned away. The burning bush wasn't a big deal that everyone on the road could see. A man with a clear receiver caught a quiet thing on the edge of the field. It's not just a matter of willpower or spiritual hunger to be able to ignore when the divine shows up in the everyday. It depends on how well you understand things. And the state of your receiver has a direct effect on how well you perceive. If your mind is fully integrated, which is how it was meant to work, you won't miss the burning bush. It keeps track of what's there. It moves away. It takes in what is being said. This Sunday, the chosen one is learning how to fix the receiver so that they can see every burning bush that comes their way. Every open door can be seen. No moment of God's provision goes by on the edges of their life without being caught. Chosen one, I want to tell you the truth about something that is happening to you right now. There is no proof that the calling was wrong in the distance. You feel right now, between the calling and the present expression. This is proof that the formation season was coming to an end. And part of what it was doing was setting you up to be open to what I'm about to tell you. Why? Because the store is about to close. Not next month. Not after another long season of getting ready. Today, on this Sunday, we are about to name the thing that has kept the fog in place. The specific neurological reality that lies beneath your spiritual experience. And things that are named lose their power. Problems that are named get their answers. I already told you in the beginning of this message that something was found in research labs. Together with a group of neuroscientists, a doctor in New York found something related to the Nobel Prize that most people interested in spiritual growth have never heard of. I said I would get back to it. I didn't want to talk about it again until now for the same reason I went over everything we've talked about so far. As the things they found are not facts. It's a way out. Plus, a solution doesn't make sense until you fully understand the issue it deals with. You now know what the shape is. You know what the gap is. You know what the receiver wants. You understand why the chosen one shows up at the door of their promise, with a mind that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Let me be clear about what has been going on, and why things will be different this Sunday. Please find below the simple truth. There are two halves in your mind. They were made to work with each other. The modern world, with its stress, speed, and heavy load of always being on high alert, slowly split up what was meant to move as one. The brilliant mind you were born with, the one that works as a whole, and is able to receive information clearly, did not go away. It was pushed down. And things that are pushed down can be brought back up. Things that are closed can be opened. Receivers that were limited by what the world did to them can be fixed by something that was made to fix them. That's what I'm going to show you. That's why this Sunday is the start and not the middle. You are about to get something, not just information, it's a door. The version of your mind and, by extension, the version of your life that was always meant to be yours, is on the other side of that door. Pay attention to every word that comes next. Don't turn your eyes away now. What if the fog isn't a sign of a flaw in your character? That's the question I asked you to think about at the start of this message. What if it has a specific place in the brain? Now I'll answer. And I want you to hear it the same way I did the first time. Being aware that what I'm about to say is not an addition to your spiritual life. It is a restoration. It's getting back something that was always meant to be yours. In 1981, a study was shown to the Nobel Prize Committee that changed the way neuroscientists thought about the brain. After years of work on what became known as split brain research, Dr. Roger Sperry proved something that most people outside of the research community have never been able to figure out. He showed that the left and right halves of the brain were not just two halves doing different things. They were made to work together as a single unit. And when they worked together, when communication between the two hemispheres was fully open, the level of cognitive function was very different from what either hemisphere could do on its own. Not even a little better. In a different category. Better. More quickly. It's more linked to both intuition and accuracy at the same time. An American woman wrote about how it felt before she found what I'm about to talk about. She had tried every method her community suggested, including prayer, writing in a journal, and meditation. She kept coming back to the same experience. She believed the words, but she couldn't feel the truth behind them in her body, or in the way her days were lived. Something stood between her and the fullness that should have been there. It was so thick that she couldn't pray, meditate, or will through it. She said something got better after 10 days of what I'm about to describe. The receiver had been fixed, not because she tried harder, but because a channel that had been blocked was now open. Something similar was said by a man from Texas. Someone who had spent years keeping things together for other people while his own life got thin and far away. It felt like I was talking into a wall when I prayed. The frequency was right, but the receiver wasn't working. When he woke up 2 weeks later, he said that his mind was running on everything it was supposed to run on. The fog had been there for so long that he stopped noticing it as fog. He said, it only took minutes for decisions that used to take days to come down. He said that he felt guided again, and could hear something above the noise of his daily life. That's because of what Dr. Barone's team has been working on for years. In New York City, Dr. Daniel Barone works as a neurosurgeon. The following is what he and his team did for years. A whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings was used for more than an hour. They took that and turned it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence by compressing and fine-tuning it a lot. 8 minutes a day. with headphones on and eyes closed. There you have it, the only physical requirement. The smart switch is what they call it. The Genius Switch is not a brainwave product, a meditation app, or a sound frequency that is meant to make you feel a certain way. Based on Dr. Roger Sperry's Nobel Prize-winning research, this is a specific sequence of sounds that were designed to connect the two hemispheres and bring back the normal state of brain activity that kids had when they were young. This is the state that 98% of kids start in, but only a few hundred adults stay in. If you've tried binaural beats or sound frequencies before and not been impressed, Dr. Barone talks about this right away. Those products only go after a small part of the picture. What he and his team made aims to synchronize the two halves of the brain at the level of the whole brain using a multi-layer protocol that was developed over many years of clinical testing. That is a different mechanism that leads to a different kind of result. Not everyone can use the Genius Switch. It is for the chosen one who knows that God not only made the promise, but also the mind that needs to follow it. The person who has been honest for years, done the work, heard the call clearly and kept coming back to it, even when the evidence wasn't supporting it, and is ready to stop seeing the fog as a flaw in their character, and start seeing it as something that needs to be addressed and fixed. Most people who hear this will scroll on by. They have come to terms with the smaller version of their mind being permanent. You're still here. That isn't a mistake. With that kind of persistence, the person this was made for will be successful. The people who work with Dr. Barone said that this would be a great deal even if it cost $500. The cost of a neurofeedback session in person is $300 an hour. This machine costs $7,000 and can be used at home. The Genius Switch was made available on the page where Dr. Barone and his team put it up for sale for $49. With an extra $10 off, the price now stands at $39. It cost $39 to make something that took 20 years and a Nobel Prize to do. For that price, you get 4 bonuses for free. A guided visualization for 4 areas of your life from a well-known and respected creator on a major wellness platform. A grocery list that lists foods that make you feel foggy headed and helps you save over $100 a month at big stores. An important book on prosperity and attraction that was written 100 years ago and is still used today. Plus a printable list of habits that will help you reach your goals. Everything comes with a risk-free money-back guarantee. Just listen once. 80 times, listen. It gets every dollar back if it doesn't do what it did for 18,000 people. One thing that stands out: you can find tracks if you search for something with a similar name on general or streaming sites. Dr. Barone's team looked into them. Most of them didn't have any neural sync technology built in at all. They had similar names because there aren't many problems with calling something that. How it works is what makes it different. The mechanism is only in the thing that his team made. The only source that has been checked is the direct page. That's where the link below takes you. You can find the link in the description below and in the pinned comment. If what was said speaks to you, it's only available where Dr. Barone and his team made it available. Before you decide, you can read everything on their page. It's easy to see every detail. The tool doesn't stand in for God. The tool doesn't take the place of obedience. It doesn't give up for you. That doesn't mean that things that don't belong in your story are over. You don't need any tool for what God is doing in you, but a tool that heals the receiver makes what God is doing more of what it was meant to do. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Let's go back to the bigger picture of what this Sunday has in store for you. Because today is supposed to lead to more than just knowing what was taken, and what can be used to get it back. The chosen one who leaves this message instead of the person who came does more than just get information. They do something. They move. They give their hours meaning. I also want to give you something that will change the way this Sunday goes for you. It's the right thing to do on Sunday. Today, in the hours that are left of the day, you are going to do 3 things. Not later, not after another prep season, but right now. This is not a list of goals to reach. These are the tasks of a chosen one who knows that the declaration alone is not enough to bring about change. It happens in what comes after the declaration. The release audit is the first task. Go find a quiet place by yourself with God before the end of this Sunday. Then, think of one thing you've been holding on to that doesn't belong in this season anymore. Not just a vague desire to let go. Something specific, like a story you keep telling yourself about why you aren't where you should be yet. A certain fear that has been stopping you from moving forward. A label on your identity that you have been wearing without realizing it, because of events or people in your life. You'll give it a name. If you're in a place where you can, you'll say it out loud. However, whether you say it out loud or in your heart, this doesn't belong in the new season. It was useful for the formation. There is no more to the formation. I let it go now. The first task is to do that. The second task is to make a declaration of becoming. It's not a secret who you are becoming this Sunday. It's in the part of you that you can feel when the fog clears. Today, before the end of the day, you are going to write down 3 very specific sentences about who that person is. Not who you want to become, but who you are becoming. These sentences should be in the present tense and first person. And they should be detailed enough. When you read them back to yourself in 3 months, you will know if it really happened. This week, put it somewhere you'll see it. To keep your nervous system, formed body, and spiritual receiver in line with what it wants. Don't put any pressure on yourself. The second task is to do that. The third task is to do one Sunday act, this Sunday. The person who has been chosen is not waiting for a whole new life to start before they do one thing that is unique to the new version of themselves. You will do something today that the old version of you has been putting off, but that the new version of you would not hesitate to do. One phone call, email, or chat is one step toward what you've been waiting for. One thing at a time, not everything. Because the God who makes rivers in the desert doesn't need everything to be clear before he starts. You don't either. As you have chosen, I would like to lead you through a guided activation before we end this Sunday. This isn't a metaphor. Visualization is not the same thing as this exercise. The person you are becoming today doesn't skip this practice, and I want you to do it all the way through. Save this moment while you're driving and come back to it when you're not moving. Allow your body to find a place to rest if you are able to do so right now. Take a deep breath and relax. Don't close your hands, instead, leave them open. The everyday noise should move to the edges of your attention. And what is being said right now should take up the center. Try to close your eyes and see this. Do not see a fantasy, but the version of yourself that will be on the other side of this Sunday. The real thing. That one you've been feeling, but haven't said much about yet. The one that holds what was built during the formation season. The person whose receiver has been fixed. When someone wakes up in the morning, the first thing they see is not fog but clarity. A sense of where they are, why they're here, and what the day is all about. Watch this person walk. Take note of how they walk. They're not trying too hard or putting on a show. They're comfortable with who they are in a way that doesn't need to be said. The way they move makes them look smart, not cocky. With the quiet confidence that comes from being in the right place. Because the receiver is wide open, and what is being received is bigger than what the outside of their situation shows. Look at what this person is making now. Not in general but in particular. The whole relationship. The work that means something. The mornings that start off clear instead of heavy, like they used to. Now they feel like something to survive. When choices are made without the weight that makes them feel like a burden instead of a power, things change. Look at the people around them. They aren't trying to influence others. The influence just flows through them. This is because a synchronized mind sends out something that others can sense, even if the mind itself can't put its finger on it. People want to be close to someone who is grounded. The ability to see things that other people miss. A way of receiving that turns everyday interactions into times of provision, because the receiver is completely open, and nothing that God has planned is going through without being noticed. Now picture them going through a door. The door that this Sunday marks. And notice that what's on the other side of the door doesn't seem strange or foreign to them. They know it because it was always theirs. On the other side of that door, they are not changing into something else. They are going back to what they were always meant to be. The genius that was there before the world squashed it. The clarity that was there before the accumulation started. The wholeness that every child starts out with, and that the chosen one is walking back into this Sunday. Now pay attention to where you are again. Check to see if something in you has changed during that seeing. Pay attention to your breath. Look around and see if your body is less tense than it was at the start of this message. Check to see if the air in the room feels a little different. It's information that your body does when you're in the real version of your future. The body is letting the spirit know what it already knows. Remember that as we move on to what I'm about to say. This message also talked about the mind, which made the chosen person feel something. That door is still open in the next section. It's only a small step, but small steps taken from a mind that is clear have changed whole generations. When one receiver is open, something else is caught by a closed receiver. You have come this far not to miss what was set out for you. I want to say something over your life before this message ends. It's not a performance, it's a witness. It's someone who sees what God has been building over a long period of time, and knows that what was built is not wasted or incomplete. What was built while waiting is exactly what is needed when it comes. You brought all of it with you when you got there this Sunday. Thought no one noticed your faithfulness. The prayers you said when the room was empty, and the answer wasn't there yet. The way you got back up after a season that was supposed to break you. God saw all of those things happen. And this Sunday is notable for having all of them arrive at the same time. Just give me a moment to be still with you. I want to send something to you right now, chosen one. The story that said the delay meant the denial needs to be let go of its weight. I'm letting go of it now. The delay did not say anything bad about your worthiness. It was how your preparation was built. And once the preparation is done, it doesn't need to be done again. You don't need to read it again. You're done with it. What comes after this Sunday is different from what came before. Not because your life has changed in an instant. Though it has, it's because the person standing at the threshold today is different from the person who stood at the threshold before. That person has more on them. That person has everything that season made. And what the season did to you is not small, not hidden, and not for no reason. Let go. Let go of the belief that you have. Let go of the comparisons that told you other people were further along than you were, and that your speed showed how valuable you were. Get rid of the voice inside your head that used your loyalty against you instead of for you. Let go of the smallness that wasn't yours to carry in the first place. It was put on you by a world that couldn't handle what was growing inside you, so it asked you to shrink. Allow it to hit the ground. Let it fall now. Let go of the idea that today is the same as every other day. Let go of the fear of being let down. Get rid of the self-defense that has been kept low because every time it rose, something came along and pushed it back down. You are no longer rising into that. You are getting better at this. Let go of the version of yourself that had to perform in order to be accepted. Put out the version that knew how much it wanted, so that wanting wouldn't hurt when it wasn't met. Free the voice that said the call went wrong. Stop worrying about whether you were the right person for the promise for all those years. That has nothing to do with the new chapter. For the life that starts after this Sunday, none of it has a forwarding address. In the comments, write, "I receive." If you felt freed, tell the people who come after you that Sunday was a big day. That person thought about these words for a while, and something changed that had been wrong for a long time. You are the chosen one who heard the call and picked up the phone even though it cost you. When nothing else could confirm it, you were the one who knew. You chose to believe the Spirit when the bank account said one thing, and it said something else. You are the person God made during a time that looked like failure, and made something that failure can't make. Right now, the receiver is being fixed on you, so that what was planned can reach the depth it was always meant to reach. You have a mind that was made for more, and is coming back to more today. You are the one who has tasks to do this Sunday. You're whole, you get it. You are coming back. You are the chosen one who comes to the door of the promise with the receiver online, the channel open, and your mind in sync with how things were at the start, how they were meant to be, and how they will be from this Sunday on. There is no version of you that is lessened by the formation. The formation made you, and you are its fullness. You are what God was building, even though you couldn't see it. You are the answer to the prayers you said alone in the rooms. You are the one. From this Sunday on, your life will be full of relationships, work, clarity, direction, and a sense of being held, guided, and seen by something bigger than any situation. This life does not belong to a future version of you that you are still becoming. Today, this Sunday, right now, it's yours. Instead of getting to a place, you've arrived at the start. The best kind of beginning is the one that comes after a long formation and builds on what the formation did. It's locked up. It's done, that's how it is. Please gently press like on this message so that it reaches the person who woke up this Sunday, not knowing that today was supposed to be different. They are known to you. The person who has stuck by you through the long season. That person who has been quietly carrying the call while life went on around them. The person whose mornings have been rough for longer than they should have been. Today, that person needed to hear that the fog doesn't make them who they are. That what was taken can be brought back. That it is possible to fix the receiver. That the start they've been looking for is finally here. Tell them about this today. Not eventually, right now. This Sunday should mean something to them, just like it did to you. That's the job of the chosen one who leaves this message, and is not the same person who came in. Please send this to someone whose mind has been cloudy, whose prayers have felt like talking into a wall, whose formation season has been long, and whose fruit has not yet arrived at the level of their effort. It's a big deal that you sent this to the right person. This is the kind of thing that person does on Sundays, that changes what they do during the season. They can change the next part of their story by what they do with their season. Do not forget how powerful it is that you are sharing this today. What was said today about the mind, restoration, the 8 minutes that lead to a Nobel Prize, and 20 years of clinical refinement was confirmed in your spirit today. Everything you need to take the next step is in the description below and the pinned comment. It was made possible by Dr. Daniel Amen and his team for people who are done accepting that the smaller version of their mind is permanent. That's you. You've always been that. You know that, and this Sunday is the day you act on it. I see you, chosen one. You are seen by God. The formation was never thrown away. There was always a reason for the season. And what starts today has been building up to this message for a while now. Go live the new part of your life. Go and become what was said this Sunday. Get what was always planned for you by going and getting it. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary, where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.